Yeah, it's obviously it is different, but we'd expect that coming year, and we're understanding of that. It does take some getting used to. A couple of days prior to the first game's probably not enough to get fully used to it. But as I said, we knew about that in the lead up. Obviously, we've had a couple of guys that have come from the Sri Lanka A series, so that they're probably more used to it than the guys coming from New Zealand. But yeah, I mean, beautiful to be out in the hot sunshine, isn't it?
We have looked at the pitch, I mean, we have looked at the
Yeah, I've obviously looked at it from the rope. Not too closely today. I think tomorrow will give us more of an indication as to what it will look like on game day.
So, how's the preparation back home? Do you have any preparatory camp or training programs or something like that?
Yeah, look, we obviously didn't finish our season, too long ago. So over the couple of weeks, as I said, a couple of guys have been in Sri Lanka, and then each of the groups of players have been in their provinces prepping for this tour.
gentlemen, Rob, initially the matches was supposed to start from 2 p.m. in the afternoon, but as the fuel crisis ongoing in Bangladesh, the matches starting timing has been moved forward. So that's why you have to play the entire match under the scorching sunlight. So does that make any impact in your preparation or change or plan, etc.?
I mean, there's not a hell of a lot you can do in a couple of days from a preparation point of view. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Totally understandable for the change to be made. We just have to adapt to the conditions, be ready to deal with the heat. It is just one of the challenges. The other big challenge is the opposition. So yeah, we got a number of things that we have to consider in the game, and the heat's just one of them.
So that's why the new factor is probably nullified as the time has moved up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you would think maybe the heat might then impact the pitch, and you don't have the dew factor to consider in the evenings. Potentially makes it a fairer contest between bat and ball because the dew's not a consideration. But then on the flip side of that, you're probably having to deal with a pitch that may potentially slow up a little bit, being in the heat the whole day.
France are known for giving spinning track to the opposition, especially from the Sena countries. But in the last series, they have put 2 wickets against Pakistan, and they said they will continue that. If they continue that, do you think that can give more challenge to the Bangladesh team from inside?
I think the Bangladesh side have got some wonderful seam bowlers, right? So I don't think that they necessarily need to make swinging decks anymore. I think they've covered in all bases. So, but I think it's good that the curator has said that, and that the plan is to do that. Does that bring us more into the game potentially? But international cricket is played so much these days in different conditions, so you kind of have to be ready for everything. We saw the series against West Indies here, looked totally different, didn't it, from a spin versus seam point of view. So, ultimately we've got ourselves ready for both. Whatever we get presented with, we've got to be good enough.
Majority of the key players are busy playing in the IPL. The team we bought was here before for the A-team series against New Zealand and Bangladesh. Do you feel the players we bought could be the tricky that played here before, and Jaden Lennox could be a trump card for you?
Look, there were a number of guys in the squad that were here in the New Zealand A series. The game that was played here was obviously a 4-day game. So, but it's good that they've been in these conditions before. That series was in May. So similar type of time of year. And so, look, any of that experience and any of the experience coming to Bangladesh is handy, and it puts you in good stead moving forward. Look, Jaden Lennox bowled incredibly well against India on very flat surfaces, so maybe he gets a bit more assistance here, maybe he doesn't, but yeah, he's a smart and crafty operator, so yeah, hopefully he does well.
Given that a lot of the majority of the regular players on the franchise league, what are you looking at the guys you have here?
Look, obviously it's always a plus for us to expose, if we wanted to call them our next in line cricketers, to quality opposition. I think this Bangladesh side's a quality team. They've shown that in just recently beating Pakistan. So being able to expose our sort of lesser experienced players to quality opposition in foreign conditions is a massive positive for us. You can't buy experience, you have to actually get out into the cauldron and actually play. And so we have that opportunity with this group to put them in those in those conditions against good opposition, see how their games stack up. And most importantly, we just keep learning. Our main driver is to keep learning and getting better as cricketers and as a unit, and so we'll continue to do that.
Coach, New Zealand just had a ODI series against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. In this part of the world, we probably would send most of the squad members to get along with the condition. But only 3 to 4 ODI squad players were there in the shape of New Zealand. So, why didn't you send more squad members? Is this a cultural difference or some kind of strategy?
No, at the end of the day, if you send our entire team to Sri Lanka and then bring them here, you've missed out on an opportunity to give 12 other players the opportunity to develop their skills in Sri Lanka, right? So we try not to do that. We try to use our opportunities as much as we possibly can. I mean, it's been reported we've got 54 cricketers, New Zealand cricketers, playing right now in different parts of the world, be that IPL, PSL, here and in Sri Lanka. And it's just under half of our contracted players in the country. So for us, it's a massive positive. We're giving a large number of players international experience at different levels, trying to make sure that we strengthen our whole system and not just a small group of players. And we understand that the international world of cricket is challenging because a lot of players are getting pulled in different directions, and ultimately we have to take care of that and make sure we're ready. Whoever we competed against, we've got a number of cricketers who are internationally ready. So using whatever opportunities and tours we can, we like to use those as smartly as we possibly can.
The series you won against India on Lions. In the middle overs, your spinners really attacked the Indian batsmen and restricted them into 250 or 280. Do you feel the middle overs, your spinners also could restrict Bangladesh batsmen?
I mean, look, our main thing is to be able to respond to conditions. We try not to decide beforehand what the game's going to look like, because cricket changes all the time and it changes in the game. If there's an opportunity for us to use our spinners to impact the middle phase of the game, we'll do that, But in the same breath, we've got some nice fast bowlers who could potentially do just the same. So, whatever the conditions tell us, we'll respond to that, be as adaptable as we possibly can, and hopefully that's the winning and losing of the game.
Rahul played very well against Pakistan and also in PSL. What's your personal opinion and planning about him?
Wonderful fast bowler as a starting point. So, and I think that also lends, the conditions to actually trying to help the conditions suit him, and bring a fast bowler into the game in Bangladesh, which is brilliant. And so we don't underestimate his quality. I mean, as I said before, there's a couple of other good fast bowlers who are bowling next to him, aren't there? So, but for us, it's facing fast bowlers is not a new thing. It's something that we have done and do regularly. We have our own fast bowlers, of course. But again, it's just on the day, isn't it? It's just trying to have the skill set that can deal with someone who's bowling above 140 in potentially slightly differing conditions, and just having our game in order for that.
Just go one from me, Rob. Just on Will O'Rourke's turn, what can you say about him as a player in this series, his role, but looking further afield, we've got Test cricket coming up, but can you tell me anything about Will O'Rourke as a player?
Look, I think first and foremost, it's just great to have Will O'Rourke back on the field. He's had a long time out through injury and rehabbing from injury, and we know what his qualities are. A tall, fast bowler. It's his first sort of competitive cricket since his injury, so I think we're all excited, probably him mostly, to be running out and representing his country again after a long layoff. And these games are just a part of the bigger picture of bringing Will O'Rourke back into international cricket.
Thank you, everybody. The top 8 available around the same time tomorrow, just after 1:30. So, see you then. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.